I'm just glad to see us going in the right direction. The Civil War and the Confederacy ended 150 years ago. It's time to let those ideals go. We'll never let it go. Really? We? You sure you want to ride that train? What it do, YouTube? I'm Ricky.
And I'm Ricardo.
And we are not...
Finally, the Rick has come back to YouTube.
You done? You get that out of your system? You good?
Come on, man. It's been like 8 months since we've done a video. But you just messed that up. So you ruined the moment. So, as you were.
You sure?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Like he has stated, it's been a while since we've done a video. Now, we won't bore you with the explanations, but between COVID and hurricanes and virtual learning and trying to launch a business, the time kind of got away from us. And believe you me, there was a lot...
Believe you me? What does that even mean?
It means believe me.
Then why do you just say that?
Look, are we going to do this or are we going to argue semantics?
Whatever, man.
You mad about that rock intro thing?
No, man, we wasting time. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, believe me, there were many things we wanted to discuss over the summer. And the last thing we spoke about was the coming COVID crisis, and we're going to get into that. But between the racial climate, the real climate, police reform, and the election, most of that could get pretty sensitive. And with the nature of my employment, I had to be pretty careful with what I said and how I said it. And to err on the side of caution, I chose not to say anything at all. But thanks to a recent memorandum from my employer, not directed at me, but at the company as a whole, our freedoms have been made a little bit more clear in what we can and can't do. And it's basically hinged on this. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on this channel does not reflect the thoughts, views, and opinions of my friends, my family, or my employer. And I am not acting as an agent of my employer. Now, I won't say that on every video, but you'll definitely find that in every description. Now that that's out of the way, we would like to extend a huge congratulations to the great state of Mississippi for finally changing that flag. For those of you who don't know, the flag of Mississippi has been a controversial subject for, at the very least, my lifetime. And as of the past election, the people have chosen a new flag.
So you say.
No, so the election said. Short history lesson. The great state of Mississippi was admitted to the Union in 1817. Now, Mississippi being Mississippi, it didn't have a flag until 1861 when they seceded from the Union, at which event they hung this, the Bonnie Blue flag. Still unofficial, but still flown. After seceding, but before the official start of the American Civil War, the state adopted this flag and called it the Magnolia flag. Now, the Magnolia flag flew throughout the entirety of the American Civil War and 3 months after it ended. It wasn't flown much during the Civil War because of the Confederate flag was all over the place, but it was a state flag nonetheless. Now, after the Civil War, the state government nullified pretty much every decision they made after the secession, inadvertently nullifying the Magnolia flag. So the state didn't have an official flag for another 30 years. So in 1894, realizing that there was no official state flag, the Mississippi legislature decided that it was time for an official flag. And thanks to the design of one Mr. Edward Scudder, this became the Mississippi flag. But it will only last for a little over a decade. Sort of. In 1906, the legislature of Mississippi enacted new legal code and repealed any laws that were not addressed directly. One of those things was the state flag. So basically the state flag got repealed. So for almost 100 years, Mississippi, once again, didn't have an official flag. But not realizing its oversight, they still flew the flag as if it was official. You still with me?
Barely, but keep going.
They kept flying the flag, but didn't realize it wasn't on the books until the year 2000. Actually, it was in 93, but it wasn't brought to the floor until 2000. In that time, there were indeed efforts to remove the Confederate symbol, which was the battle flag, not ever knowing that it wasn't official in the first place. So in 2001, the flag became official again. Then, in the year of our Lord, 2020, it was finally decided that the flag needed to be officially changed again. In that year, the people decided to officially change the flag to represent the true nature and hospitality of our state.
That was a real intriguing history lesson. Wikipedia taught you well.
I had other sources.
Well, you seem to have left out a lot of history here. The Spanish Aragon, for example.
Wait. Mississippi wasn't a state yet when that flag was flying. It was still a territory, and it flew in the southern part of that territory and was considered West Florida. There were many British and Spanish flags flown over what is now Mississippi, But we're talking about what happened after they became a state.
Fair enough. Let's get a little more modern then. You didn't mention that back in 2001, the state gave the people the power and decision as to whether or not they wanted to keep the current flag or whether or not they wanted another flag. Well, the people voted to keep that flag. And then, in the year of our Lord 2020, the state decided that they didn't want the people to have that choice anymore.
Wait a minute now. The people did indeed vote this time, just like they voted last time.
No, this time around, the people had to vote on whether they wanted a new flag or a different new flag. There's a difference. I'm listening. I'm sure you are. The difference is that they weren't given the decision on whether or not they wanted to keep the old flag. The state government basically said, you're going to get a new flag. You have to decide on which new flag we get or go back to the drawing board. Keeping the old flag was not an option. You think that was fair, given the fact that they had the option 20 years earlier?
It was fair enough. They could have just thrown a new flag at us and said, here, this is what you got. Just like they did all the other previous flags.
Look, I despise that flag as much as the next guy, but you can't give the power of a vote to the people and then just say you don't want them to have that power anymore. The next thing you know, the government is going to start choosing mayors, congressmen, and maybe even the president.
They're doing that now, the Electoral College.
You know what I mean. Look, once you give it to the people, you have to keep it with the people. Otherwise, you're just telling the people that either A, you no longer trust their decision, or B, you no longer want their decision. Now, did that vote have a leg to stand on? Probably not. But it still should have been the old flag or the new flag, not this pick your poison style of voting. Now, I'm still surprised they let us vote on the marijuana thing. Then 5 years from now, they're going to just make the decision for us, whether we voted for it or not.
Okay, I'll give you that. It's ridiculous, but I'll give it to you. I'm just glad to see us going in the right direction. The Civil War and the Confederacy ended 150 years ago. It's time to let those ideals go.
We'll never let it go.
Really?
You sure you want to ride that train? I'm not talking about the thirst for slavery. Of course we should let that go. I mean the logic of big federal government controlling smaller state governments. We'll never let that go. I mean, the state should be able to handle their own laws. I mean, look at Colorado. As a nation, marijuana was illegal. Then Colorado decided they just wanted to forego the federal laws and make it legal in their state. Then other states followed suit. That's a Confederate ideology right there. Across the board, abortions and gay marriages are legal on the federal level. Yet some states have decided they want to do it their way, either directly or indirectly. Confederate ideologies.
You're walking a fine line there, my friend.
It is what it is.
Okay. What say you, YouTube? Should the state of Mississippi have allowed the people to vote on keeping the old flag once again? Or did they do the right thing by getting rid of it altogether and allowing the people to choose which new flag we get? Personally, I'm glad we chose to move in the right direction, and maybe that will serve as an incentive to try to break into the middle of the pack of some of these statistics that we're dead last in, like education, poverty, healthcare, and the cost of living. I'm tired of being 50th in all the good stuff and first in all the bad.
Please, you think that changing a cloth on a pole is going to all of a sudden bring the state out of the highest gonorrhea rate in the country? You think Johnny Racist is all of a sudden not going to be racist anymore? You can't put a suit on a gangbanger with a third-grade education and expect him to run a company.
Yes, you can, and yes, he has. Glass half full, my friend. Glass half full.
More like, do you want a glass or a solo cup?
You still mad about the Rock thing?
It was a perfect opportunity for it.
All right, I'll let you do it on the next one.
No, you're not going to let me do anything. I'm going to do it if I want to.
If you smell what the Rick is cooking.
Damn right.
And I've challenged myself. Have you?
Over and out.